Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Jesse. My channel is all about domain format. If you don't know what domain format is, you can check it out here. It's only the best way to play multiplayer Yu-Gi-Oh! And even though I'm not in the Discord, I still suggest everybody go check it out. They have an awesome website that helps you build your deck. You can join the Discord to get help with your deck, ask ruling questions, or play domain with friends online. Just don't tell them I sent you. With that in mind, this is gonna be the first time I honestly suggest you turn on notifications for my content. It's the only way you're gonna be notified whenever I upload a new video or go live. I also have tons of playlists in the description, deck lists, gameplay, card discussions, all the good stuff. And with that said, let's get into the video. What is up, guys? I am back. Yes, I am super excited to talk about the things in this video. I can't wait to get to it. I am here to talk about the new YUGI support. Dude, these cards are so crazy. These cards are bonkers, man. I knew as soon as I saw them, I was gonna have to build a deck. I had to do this. I've already gotten a couple practice games in. The deck is super sweet. I just need to get better at like going through the combo plays and all that stuff. But this deck honestly has one of the best grind games once you're set up. I'll explain all that stuff. We're gonna actually be going through all the cards, and then I'm gonna go through the deck profile, and then I'm gonna show you a cool combo that I found that bridges from Dark Magician to the new Ritual of Light and Darkness stuff. So without further ado, let's go through the cards. All right, first up, we got a new Dark Magician, baby. Let's go, dude. I was over the moon when I saw this. The new overcard collection in OCG has some crazy new cards. I honestly think these are power crept. But going over the new card, the new Dark Magician card, he's got the same stats as Dark Magician. His name becomes Dark Magician while in the field or the graveyard, which is really important. And to special summon him out of your hand, you just got to reveal a spell card. And on top of that, when you summon him, you get to set a spell or trap that mentions Dark Magician. And if that's not crazy enough, he has a quick play effect. You can discard a spell card, Feather Duster somebody. What a wild Dark Magician upgrade. The second of the new 3 Dark Magician-esque cards is a new Dark Magical Curtain. Now you might be asking yourself, where's the Dark Magical Curtain, Jesse? Your guess is as good as mine. No, I'm just kidding. On the overframe card, which is cut out here, he's up here. He's cut out right now, but this card is also bonkers. Each player can special summon a dark spellcaster from their deck, from their hand or deck. Then if you special summon a monster with the original name of Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl, you can add a spell trap from your deck to your hand that mentions Dark Magician. Also, these special summon monsters cannot activate their effects. These 2 cards alone drastically raise the ceiling on the Dark Magician deck. Like, Dark Magician Destruction was cool and everything, but now that there's this to search with it, the combos are so much better. I've been losing my mind reading these as they come out. And the last new Dark Magician support is this multiplying Kaparibo. When an opponent's monster declares an attack or your opponent's monster activates their quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand, so it sums itself out for free. Then once per turn, when an opponent's monster declares an attack during damage calc, or when your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, quick effect, you can add to your hand or special summon a Dark Magician or a monster with 300 attack, 200 defense from your deck or graveyard. Then you can change that opponent's monster's attack to 0. This card is wild, dude. You can special summon a Dark Magician from deck or graveyard during damage steps, so that they most likely won't be able to respond to it unless they negate the activation or whatever. Insane, dude. This also happens to be able to search one of the starters for the Light and Darkness Ritual archetype. That's only 3 cards, but these are insane, man. I can't hype them up enough. These are so good. And this is just the Dark Magician stuff that's new. Moving on to the Light and Darkness Ritual archetype. These are my crappy proxies, but these overframe cards look insane from the OCG. I cannot wait to get my hands on real ones. But these are obviously retrains of Black Chaos Magician and Black Luster Soldier. And these are some of the craziest boss monsters I think I have ever seen. Let's start off with Black Luster Soldier, I guess. Same stats, Earth Warrior, level 8, 3000 attack, 2500 defense. You can ritual summon this with the new archetypes ritual spell. Cannot be destroyed by battle. Unaffected by your opponent's activated effects unless they target this card. Dark Hole, don't care. Mirror Jade Banish, don't care. This is crazy. This has so much staying power in a domain game. It's not even funny. On top of being unaffected by non-targeting effects, it's also not destroyable by battle. Like, you're just gonna have to kaiju this. And you might be thinking in your head, well, if I target it with something, then I'll just be fine, right? There's another card in here that will pretty much make it untargetable. Then it says, if this card is special summoned, not ritual summoned, If this card is special summoned, you can target one card your opponent controls and banish it. Again, the fact that this activates on special summon means you can, after probably summoning this, you can Monster Reborn it, or there's, sorry, spoiler, but there's another card that essentially lets you summon this out of your hand from the archetype. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, this card gains 1500 attack, and if you do, it can make a second attack in a row, which is essentially just kind of like a fusion of the original Black Luster Soldier's effect. And then if that wasn't enough, Black Chaos, the Dark Chaos Magician, is also crazy. It doesn't have the battle protection, but it has the same unaffected by your opponent's activated effects clause unless it targets it. Instead of the battle protection that this gets, this says spells and traps you control cannot be destroyed or banished by your opponent's card effects. Heavy Storm? Don't care. Feather Duster? Don't care. Effects that banish your spells and traps? Don't care, dude. Wild, man. This card also has a crazy on special summon effect, not ritual summon, special summon. If it's special summoned, you can add a spell from your graveyard to your hand. Pot of Greed, Graceful Charity, whatever you got, you just get to use it again. It also has an ignition effect. You can target one card your opponent controls, banish it face down. Bro, these are some of the craziest ritual monsters I've ever seen in my life. Mitsurugi, barely know him. Don't even care anymore. Now, these are just the first 2 of 10 cards that the archetype got. I guess we can go over the ritual next. Ritual of Light and Darkness. This card can be used to ritual summon the Black Luster Soldier or the Black Chaos Magician. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field and or banish monsters from your graveyard whose total levels equal or exceed the monster you're ritual summoning. That's nice. I'm really glad it doesn't have to be the exact same level because that's super annoying about the ritual archetypes. Like they're already like losing out on card advantage. I don't think they should have to do that anymore for rituals. If this card is in your graveyard, you can add both it and one other card that mentions a Ritual of Light and Darkness from your graveyard to your hand. You'll activate this once per turn. This is wild, dude. So once you ritual summon one of these, if they somehow take care of it and get them to the graveyard, you can just activate this and add them both back, do it again. Not only that, it says you can add any card that mentions the ritual. So there's all kinds of, once we go over all the rest of these cards, there's a ton of combinations that this essentially just adds it back, and you get to pick one of those cards that mentions the Ritual of Light and Darkness, add it back as well. This is the most busted, in terms of domain specifically, this is one of the most busted ritual spells I think there is. Now, I'm going to mention the next card that I think is going to be the most impactful in domain specifically, and that is Mind Shuffle. Now, I don't know what card this is referencing, but I'm wondering if this is referencing how like Yami and Kid Yugi would swap back and forth during that one duel. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know, but this card is nuts. This card is so crazy. During either player's turn, you can add one monster that mentions Ritual of Light and Darkness from your deck to your hand, then discard one card. Now, discarding a card sounds kind of rough, but in actuality, it ends up enabling the rest of the combos in this deck. But the actual bonkers effect of this card, I should say that the search effect can only be used once per turn. This next effect is not once per turn. The next effect says, when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can return one level 7 or higher monster you control to your hand, special summon one monster with a different name from your hand that mentions Ritual of Light and Darkness, ignoring its summoning conditions. You cannot activate the effects of Mind Shuffle in the same chain. Remember how I said these have on special summon effects? You get those when you swap him out with Mind Shuffle. So you summon him, banish a card, because it's a special summon effect. This is face up. During your opponent's turn, let's say you pass, they try and Heavy Storm you to get rid of this. You activate this in response, add this back to your hand, special summon the Black Magician of Chaos. It's on summon effect, or sorry, when Heavy Storm goes to resolve, this will protect your spells and traps. And on a new chain, it'll activate to add back a spell from your graveyard to your hand. Now, let's say they build a giant board and try and OTK you. You can activate, at some point they'll activate something. You activate this, bounce him back to your hand to summon out the same Black Luster Soldier in defense position. On summon, it'll banish a card, so you can hopefully get rid of whatever the biggest threat is. But then after that, they can't attack through this guy because he's indestructible from battle. Then if they activate something targeting him, you can then activate this again. There's pretty much no limit to going back and forth here. Now, their on special summon effects are once per turn, but you essentially, like, it doesn't matter how many target effects they have, you can just keep swapping them out. This is such a strong recursive combo, dude. Like, it feels so good to get this off in a game. crazy. This is a crazy card. And it even has more applications than that. This can essentially cheat out one of these by returning, you know, it says it has to be level 7 or higher, right? You can return any level 7 to your hand, let's say Dark Magician, and then summon it, ignoring its summoning conditions. So you like can get around needing a ritual card in a way. This is so crazy, man. So just keep that in mind, that you can bounce any level 7 or higher. Now, then the thing I'm gonna talk about next is important to keep in mind with the Mind Shuffle's discard. Skull Archfiend of Chaos. This has the exact same stats as Summon Skull. It says if this card's in your hand or graveyard, you can target 3 other cards in the graveyards and or face up banishment, including a card that mentions Ritual of Light and Darkness. Place them directly on the bottom of the deck in any order, and if you do, special summon this card. This has built-in recycling. I love it, dude. And I don't know if this is a translation error, so don't quote me on this later on if there's a TCG translation, but it says you can target 3 of your cards in the graveyards and or face up banishment. It doesn't say your graveyard or face up banishment. So if you're trying to get rid of some of the goatee stuff that's in their banishment, I think you can shuffle them back, or sorry, put them on the bottom, because it doesn't say the bottom of your deck. It says the bottom of the deck. Yeah, that's crazy. Built-in banishment, graveyard, and also kind of like a weird DD Crow / reverse DD Crow. This card is just, the summon effect is so good. I'm just like freaking out about how good these cards are, specifically for Domain. But that's not all. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can send a ritual spell from your hand or deck to the graveyard, add a ritual monster mentioned on that card from your deck to your hand. So let's say you got Mind Shuffle. You activate Mind Shuffle to add a monster that mentions Light and Darkness. You then discard a card. You discard the new Summon Skull. Summon Skull activates. Whether this is in your hand or deck, you can send this to the graveyard, add one of these, and then because because his special summon, his inherent summon works from the hand or graveyard, you can then summon him from the graveyard to help ritual summon if you want. Or you could activate this to add both of these back. This is wild, man. I can't say enough things about how crazy this card is. So just gonna move on. Now you might be thinking to yourself, man, Mind Shuffle seems pretty important to get out. Well, luckily there's a new giant Black Chaos Magical Swordsman. This is a level 8 spellcaster, 3k attack, 2500 defense. Cannot be normal summon set. Must be special summoned from your hand by shuffling a ritual monster that is a spellcaster or a warrior from your hand or graveyard into the deck. Now I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how much you're gonna be special summoning this guy because he has a discard effect. You can discard this card, place a continuous trap that mentions Light and Darkness from your deck or graveyard. So whether this is in your deck or whether they destroyed it with an MST or Heavy Storm and it's in the graveyard, you can discard this to get it back. This is also unaffected by your opponent's activated effects while you have a ritual spell in your graveyard. Now this one's also immune to being targeted. These ones are unaffected unless they target. This one's just unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. And it also has an ignition effect. Once per turn, you can banish 2 cards your opponent controls. What? And the other crazy thing is, like, you might be thinking, well, what if Mind Shuffle and, you know, let's say I've gone through my plays. What if Mind Shuffle's already in my graveyard and this is in my graveyard? Well, you can add this back, these 2 back, by activating this, and then discard this to get this back. And then use the Archfiend to summon itself by shuffling, let's say all these, who cares? Let's say they all go back, summon him. You set this, and you can activate it on your opponent's turn to start adding back stuff from your deck to your hand. It is so recursive. It is so good. This is legit. I think this is gonna be good in advanced, you know what I'm saying? But wait, there's more. There are 4 more cards in this new series, I guess you would call it. It's got a cute new little Karibo card, Grifo. This guy says, he's got Karibo stats. He has a quick effect. You can discard this card, then activate one of these effects. The next battle or effect damage you take this turn will become 0. Who cares? Or set a quick play spell or trap that mentions Ritual of Light and Darkness from your deck. It can be activated this turn. Insane, dude. And then for the ritual summon of exactly 1 level 8 ritual monster, this can be used for the entire tribute. So, you know, again, the fact that it has a discard effect to set this, or possibly 2 more cards that I'll show you. After you discard this to get this, you can then use this to get this back and discard this on the next turn to get the other cards that I'm about to show you. This archetype is so cool, man. So I guess I'll show you the other cards that Grifo can get. Mystic Box of Chaos. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets another card, which your opponent may do in order to try and get rid of these, right? Return one of those cards you control to the owner's hand. If you do, destroy 1 card in the field. Then you can special summon a monster that mentions Ritual of Light and Darkness from your hand with a different name than the returned card, ignoring its summon conditions. Now notice it says you can summon a monster that mentions Ritual of Light and Darkness. So it could be this, or there's one more in here, I guess I'll get to showing you. Then the last effect is, if this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card, you can special summon a ritual monster that mentions Light of Darkness from your hand or deck. So let's say on the off chance that this is set and you do get Heavy Stormed and you don't care about it dying, it'll get destroyed and then you can just summon one of these. It has an on summon effect. So good, man. This is a cool card. It's not as strong as like the rest, but I still like it quite a bit. The next one that's kind of weird, but I do like a lot, is Chaos Hats. Obviously a retrain of Magical Hats. Quick play spell. When your opponent activates a monster effect or a normal spell or trap card, choose 3 spell traps with different names from each other from your deck and 1 monster in your main monster zone that mentions Ritual of Light and Darkness. Special summon the chosen spell traps in face down defense position as normal monsters, level 8 dark, and their names become Chaos Hats. That's a what a mouthful, holy crap. Set the chosen monster and shuffle them on the field. Then your opponent's activated effect becomes destroy 1 face down defense position monster your opponent controls. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the downside to this is that you already have to have a monster in play that mentions Light and Darkness. Not too hard, but then you get to pick 3 different spells or traps from your deck. It doesn't matter what spell or traps you pick. So I would imagine there's some spell and traps you could pick that say when they're destroyed, do something, but I didn't incorporate that in this list. I just assumed I would be going to get some random stuff. But it is nice that they're treated as normal monsters and level 8 monsters, because when you do activate this, you can attribute those monsters to summon these. And the fact that they're normal monsters is important for one other ritual that I'm playing, which I'll mention when I get to it. But this kind of turns anything your opponent activates into destroy 1 face down monster I control. That's pretty good. You know, your opponent activates Brand of Fusion. Nah, dog. Now it's a pop 1. I think this card's pretty cool. I don't think it's always going to be super useful all the time, but I think in that, in that scenario, like with Brain of Fusion, it's going to be a giant blowout. All right, last card, Celtic Guardian Retrain, Mystical Celtic Sage, 1400 attack, 2000 defense, warrior, light, level 4. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can activate this effect. You can only special summon from the extra deck once for the rest of the turn. Also reveal your entire hand, and if there's a card that mentions Ritual of Light and Darkness in it, you can draw 3, discard 2. Now, this card, I'm going to be honest, I probably won't be summoning it all that much. Like, yeah, Graceful Charity is cool, but I can just use Graceful Charity and then get it back with this guy to Graceful Charity again and not get locked out of my extra deck. Tagging it out into play on your opponent's turn, pretty good deal. The only downside is if this is your board and you tag this out for this, yeah, you get to Graceful Charity, but then you can't bounce this back with Mind Shuffle because it's not level 7 or higher. And the extra deck lock is super hard to deal with on your own turn. So like I said, I don't know how often I'm gonna be summoning this guy. But he also says you can tribute this card, special summon a ritual monster that mentions Ritual of Light and Darkness from your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. So I guess at worst, you could summon him, hopefully, not in domain, but in advanced. You would hopefully draw one of these to get them out. I guess that completely negates what I just said about the last setup, doesn't it? So yeah, okay, I'm an idiot. If this was your board, you could activate this to bounce this, summon him, Graceful Charity, and then tribute him to the graveyard to just put it back out. Okay, okay, never mind. Pretty good. Even better than I thought. That's it, man. What a wild archetype, dude. This is, I have a funny feeling this is going to be one of my favorite decks for a long time. And that's not because I'm a Yugi boomer. That definitely helps. I'm over the moon about all the callbacks in these cards. This is so insanely strong. I can't wait to play this in a video. It won my poll that I made on YouTube. I'm pretty happy about that, to be honest. So yeah, I can't wait to play this. Now, you guys already know that I mentioned Dark Magician stuff, and I was not going to be able to pass up the chance to play Dark Magician stuff with these new cards. So I'll just quickly go over the rest of what I am playing. Magician's Souls, DMG, Dark Magician himself, Magician's Rod, Salvation, the Eternal Soul to go with it. I'm not playing the Knives or the Dark Magic Attack. To be completely honest, I'm not sure how often I'm going to be flipping this face up because this is the one way to get around these guys' protection. So I'm not even sure I want to keep this in, but I do want to play this because getting back these from the graveyard is good. They can be used for link material and stuff. Soul Servant and the Gaze of Timaeus. Those are all the Dark Magician cards I am playing. And then the rest of these cards are kind of, Dark Magician related, but there's Chaos Form, one of the other few rituals that I am playing. There's good old Dark Magician of Chaos himself. This guy's just here for pure nostalgia, to be completely honest. I'm probably never going to be tribute summoning him, although I am playing something in the extra deck that does help with that. If I do choose to do that, I'll tell you, I'll bring it up when I mention it. There's Black Magician of Chaos, Max. I know this isn't a Dark Magician card, but it goes with the Chaos form. There's Illusion of Chaos, and I'm also playing the Black Luster Soldier Legendary Swordsman. This is the one ritual guy that cares about the hats making the spell traps normal monsters, because this says, when this attacking card that was ritual summoned using a normal monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can shuffle all cards your opponent controls into the deck. Incredibly backbreaking. Just shuffling their whole board away. But that's the one use case scenario that I've seen of making them normal monsters with the hats. I'll probably talk again more about these ritual cards, because the fact that there's ritual cards in the deck, ritual summoning is still pretty difficult in my opinion, even with all the support. But that's the Dark Magician support. I'm running a couple other small engines to support the Dark Magician stuff, and the reason they're in here is to specifically increase the chances that I'll be able to summon Dark Magician of Destruction. He takes a level 6 or higher spellcaster monster after you've activated a spell for the turn. So to help with that, I am playing some of the Shining Sark cards. Dark Magician Girl is probably the best out of the three, because on summon it can get Shining Sark, and then Shining Sark can go get the Dark Magician, and he can special himself when this is out. Then you have both in play. You can pick one or the other to banish for the demod. I'm not running the rest of the Shining Sark stuff, even though it is incredibly flavorful with, it being Yugi and all. You can expand on this. I personally chose not to. I chose to focus more on the new ritual stuff. But on top of this, I'm also playing a little Diabell Star engine. This engine is better in my opinion, because all three of the cards can find the other two cards. Wanted can go find Diabell Star can find this. I'm not playing the Azamina stuff. You could, but I'm not. You could also find, I guess, a different Sinful Spoils spell card. Again, you could expand on this. I'm choosing just these three because they all lead to Diabell Star, and Diabell Star leads to Demod. Now, the cool thing is you could send Deception to summon her, and then use Wanted to shuffle back Deception to draw a card. And then when this is banished, you can put it back with the Summoned Skull guy. Because again, he can shuffle back anything from graveyard to banish. You just have to also include one card that mentions the Ritual of Light and Darkness. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I'll show you later in the combo why it's so important to get to Demod, because the Dark Magician stuff can bridge over into the Light and Darkness stuff. Now, I guess I'll talk about the rest of the ritual support. So in the deck, there's only 2 ritual spells, the Light and Darkness and the Chaos form. I considered running more ritual spells like Super Soldier Synthesis and Super Soldier Ritual, and I also considered more ritual monsters like Magician of Chaos and Black Luster Soldier, the Super Soldier. I considered these as well, but after my playtesting and a lot of goldfishing, I don't think these are necessary. So just keep that in mind. I already considered those cards, but after establishing that I wanted to play these cards, I wanted to focus on making sure I could get the ritual stuff well consistently every game. So I narrowed it down to these. Illusion of Chaos is good on its own. It just goes into the Dark Magician stuff. Black Luster Soldier and the new Black Chaos Magician are, again, super easy to go into on their own. These are really the only guys that are difficult to summon, and you have to use Chaos form to summon these guys. But because this mentions Dark Magician, it's also super easy to search for with the Dark Magician package. So that's why I narrowed it down to these 5. I imagine if you go higher on the rituals plus the ritual monsters, you may end up breaking more often than you would like. So that was a personal choice. I just narrowed it down to these. To be completely honest, you could probably take these out as well and just focus on these, because you're never summoning him. You're mainly just summoning these. So if you cut these out, you could also cut Chaos form. But I'm gonna be honest, I just like summoning these guys. He's also useful on his own too, because you can give up your draw to go search for any ritual spell in your deck, so you could go get either of these. This guy's Floodgate effect is just incredibly backbreaking when you're trying to focus on somebody, so that's why I like him. But obviously we're going to be focusing on summoning these guys. With those in mind, this next package is there to try and help me get to these cards. The incantations are honestly really, really nice. These guys say to reveal a ritual spell. These guys say to reveal a ritual monster. So you got to be kind of careful about that. It cares about which are in your hand. But if you reveal the appropriate card, it summons itself plus one of the others from the deck. And the one that you summon from the deck has an on-summon effect. These all have different effects. They range from adding a ritual monster or a ritual spell from deck to hand, or from graveyard to hand. And then this guy says you can just reveal him and discard a card to special summon any incantation monster from your deck. But during the end phase, if you didn't end up ritual summoning, you lose 2,500 attack or life points. Obviously, you're never going to ritual summon this guy. He is just there to summon one of these. So keep that in mind. I guess I don't know I guess you could try and summon it, but it just pops a monster as far as I know. Nothing nearly as impressive as what these guys can do, to be honest. But in my gold fishing, I have really enjoyed having these in hand. I'm never really sad because it doesn't lock you into ritual summoning, so you could use them for, you know, link climbing. These monsters I'm never going to be normal summoning, but they have pretty good effects if they're banished from the graveyard. Now, it's a lot of text, but Beginning Night pretty much says if he's used for a ritual summon of a Black Luster Soldier, it gains a couple of effects. It can banish a monster or make a second attack in a row, which I don't think the second attack in a row is going to be important with him because he already gives himself a second attack in a row. This one will give an additional ability to banish a monster or kind of omega a card out of their hand until the end of the next turn. But the cool part is, while they're in your graveyard, if they get banished, this one adds a ritual monster and this one adds a ritual spell. Now, how are we going to banish it out of the graveyard, you might be asking? Ritual of Light and Darkness can banish materials from the graveyard. And it doesn't say if they're tributed, it just says if they're used for a ritual summon. So those other effects can activate on top of the banish effects when you use this. I think that's pretty cool. And again, I consider some other like Super Soldier support, but it ended up feeling too clunky. And then last but not least, Chaos Space. Chaos Space says you can discard a light or dark monster, add a light or dark monster from that cannot be normal summoned or set from your deck to your hand with a level from 4 to 8 with a different attribute than the monster that you sent. So this is here exclusively to get this guy by discarding a light monster. Still testing it out. I don't know how clunky it'll feel, but this guy's really, really important to get to, so I wanted to add more ways to get to him. This is the one that you can discard to place Mind Shuffle in play. On top of that, I'm playing Pre-Prep and Preparation of Rites. Pre-Prep is only ever going to grab Illusion of Chaos, and Preparation is only ever going to add Ritual of Light and Darkness and one of these guys. So keep that in mind. You probably won't be able to play them twice. You could add things like, I don't know, Mitsurugi, but I decided not to. It would probably be really bonkers though. I'm playing Gateway to Chaos. It can add a Black Luster Soldier or a Ritual Monster, and it can also search for ritual spells. I don't know how important that is. I am also playing Rhoda. Rhoda can add any of these to my hand. The rest is pretty much a lot of bread and butter stuff. A couple of Kaijus, Dark Hole Dragon and Dark Hole. I think Dark Hole Dragon is really cool because he's level 8 and he can special himself from the graveyard whenever anything's destroyed by a non-targeting effect. And then on summon, it can search for Dark Hole. Now, after you play Dark Hole, it's kind of hard to get Dark Hole back into your hand unless you put it back with the new Summon Skull. So you can shuffle this back, and then the next time this gets summoned, you'll be able to search for Dark Hole again. Being level 8 is also important for ritual summoning because the Black Luster Soldier and the Black Chaos Magician are level 8. Change of Heart, Call by the Grave, Pot of Greed, Grace for Charity. I put in Foolish Burial Goods to send the Ritual of Light and Darkness, just in case, because there are ways to shuffle it back. I'm not sure how necessary this is. I'm also playing Foolish Burial in case I want to search for something like Garifo and add Garifo back to my hand with the ritual spell. I'm playing Highlander because, well, a lot of the stuff plays out of the graveyard really well, and there's so much recursion with the Summon Skull and the Ritual of Light and Darkness. I think he'd be good for that. Randomly playing a Chaos Dragon Levianeer. I just like him. And I'm not super concerned about banishing 3 cards because of the Summon Skull. Monster Reborn, Nib, Supply Squad. This is kind of a flex spot. I didn't really know what to add here. I just added it. And then Effect Veiler. Okay. Oh, wait. And I guess I could go over the extra deck. Sorry, I realized I probably should have just zoomed in from the start, eh? Dark Magician of Destruction, Black Luster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos, the Dark Magicians, Master of Chaos. These are pretty much just Gaze of Tamaya's targets. Underworld Goddess. The deck can surprisingly spam out a lot of bodies, so this isn't too hard to make. Of course, Dragoon. A new card, Miasma Necromancer. This is how I would be tribute summoning Dark Magician of Chaos, by the way. Lina, Dark, and then the rest of these are involved in a pretty cool combo that lets you Dragoon twice per turn. Not too shabby. I'll explain everything in the combo video, but it involves Firewall Dragon. The new WP Fancy Ball, Protect Code Talker, 4 Charmers in Profusion, and then an Artemis because we need a Link 1 in the graveyard. Now, I guess I should have started with this, but this is the deck master I decided to pick. Chaos Grepher. He's light and dark, and he's also warrior. So that gives me access to all the light and dark monsters that you saw, plus the warrior Earth Luster Soldiers. He's pretty nice because he says you can discard a light or dark monster to send a light or dark monster with a different attribute than the monster you sent to the graveyard. But for the rest of the turn, you cannot special summon the monsters. So he's mainly nice for getting the beginning and end nights to the graveyard. But the way that I mainly use him is to send, by discarding a light card to send this Summon Skull to the graveyard. And then when he's sent to the graveyard, he activates, sending the ritual, adding the Black Luster Soldier or the Chaos Magician. I don't know what other options there are for the deck masters. I just kind of, my mind went straight to him and I was just like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna pick him. You could go to the Domain Format Discord website domainformat.com. They have a tool there. You could put in your YDKE and look at what available deck masters there are. So you can do that too. Okay, now let's get to the cool combo that I saw. And the cool thing about this combo is it's all done off of Magician's Rod. This is going to show you how much stronger normal summoning Magician's Rod has gotten. Originally in my previous video where I did a Dark Magician structure deck, I said that Magician's Rod wasn't a very good normal summon. Now it's a much better normal summon because of the 3 new Dark Magician cards that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the 3 new spoilers. So this combo is going to involve Rod and literally 4 random cards. So you're gonna start off by normal summoning Rod. Rod's gonna add the new Curtain. Activate the Curtain. You're gonna summon DMG. Each player gets to special summon a Dark Spellcaster. They can't activate their effects, but there are some Dark Spellcasters with like pretty good continuous effects, or when they're sent to the graveyard type effects like Witch of the Black Forest. You're gonna get a chance to, if it doesn't stop you, banish whatever the craziest thing you find or whatever they end up summoning. So keep that in mind. We'll get a chance to banish one of the cards that they're summoning off of this. But because we summoned DMG, we get to add Gaze of Timaeus. Now we're going to banish the DMG, go into DMod. On summon, DMod will get us Magician Souls. Now we're going to link 2 these away for a link 2 monster. Now the link 2 that we're going to go into is Dark. I'm going to assume one of your opponents has a dark monster in the graveyard. I know that's kind of a lot to ask, but just know that if they don't have a dark monster, you're going to need some material in play to be a second material. The deck has tons of ways to get out free bodies, so this hasn't been a problem so far. But you're going to summon Dark. We're going to assume they have a dark monster to summon, or one of those other monsters that you had in hand. We're then going to activate Gaze of Timaeus, shuffling back the DMod because it counts as Dark Magician in the graveyard. We're going to go into Dragoon. We're going to activate Magician Souls here, and the card that you want to send is going to be the Black Chaos Swordsman. This is going to be how we bridge into the Light and Darkness stuff, and you're going to want to summon him. Let's pretend we summon this monster over here. Sorry, because you want to link this off into Artemis. Use your link to an Artemis to go into Protect Code Talker, and then you'll use Protect Code Talker and the extra body that you found somehow into Firewall Dragon. We're then going to activate the Protect Code Talker in the graveyard by banishing up to link 3 of material monsters to special summon, and then we're going to activate the Firewall's once per face up effect to return the Black Chaos Swordsman to our hand. Sorry, Timaeus is gone. So now you have access to the Light and Darkness engine, but I'm gonna show you the rest of the combo because it's pretty slick. Discard and activate, go get Mind Shuffle. Mind Shuffle's active. You can activate Mind Shuffle, adding the Summon Skull. You then have to discard a card. Summon Skull will then activate. You send the Ritual, then you get to add the new Black Chaos Magician. Now we're gonna activate the Ritual's graveyard effect to add itself back, and one card that mentions Light and Darkness. We'll then go ahead and activate the Ritual, attributing the level 8 Swordsman. Ritual summoning the Black Chaos Magician. He will then activate. We can get back a spell card. I'm gonna go for the Dark Magical Curtain. Now is your chance to banish whatever was scary that they summoned with the original Dark Magical Curtain, like a Witch of the Black Forest or something like that, so they can't get their effect. And then we're gonna go into a link 2. We're gonna use this as a link 1. The new Miasma Necromancer. Miasma Necromancer on summon can add a level 5 or higher dark monster. Yeah, level 5 or higher. We're gonna get him back again. And then we're gonna use this as a link 2 and this as a link 1. This is gonna banish itself. For the new WP Fancy Ball. We're now going to special summon the Summon Skull from the graveyard. It doesn't matter what you shuffle back, except it's important that you shuffle back your Ritual because you only have 1 Ritual. This is going to go back in the deck along with whatever, if you want to get back some banished stuff like DMG, Dark, you can shuffle these back. He's summoned. We're then going to shuffle back the Ritual Magician of Black Chaos to summon this guy. You can use his Ignition effect to banish 2 cards if there's anything in play. But other than that, we're just going to set this and we're going to pass here, assuming these do nothing. Now, I just want to take a moment and say this was all off of Magician's Rod. It is crazy the combos people come up with. I'll leave the tweet down below that inspired which goes over this combo. I did not make it myself. As soon as they do anything, you're going to want to activate WP Fancy Ball. This essentially lets you do Masquerena, but they can't activate anything in response to it. We're going to use itself and the Archfiend, or the Summon Skull, and we're going to go into the 4 Charmers of Profusion. This sends our Summon Skull to the graveyard, which activates, and we can send back the Ritual that we put back into the graveyard, and then we're going to go ahead and add back the Chaos Sorcerer again. You're going to want to fire off your Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, its negate, pretty early because we're going to try and get it back into play to use
use again. So let's pretend they, I don't know, they do something you want to negate. We discard a random card. It gets negated and destroyed. After that, you're going to want to mind shuffle. We need to get our other ritual to our hand really quick. We'll have the new Black Luster Soldier. It's important to activate that because we're then going to activate the Magician's Rod in our graveyard. Whenever we activate a spell or trap, while it's in our graveyard, we can activate it. We can tribute a spellcaster to add it back to our hand. And we're going to be attributing the Dragoon. Fear not, it will be back. At this point, you can activate the 4 Charmers of Profusion. You can target 2 monsters in your graveyard with the same attribute in different types or same type in different attributes and return them to play. But they cannot be, this along with the 2 materials you bring back, cannot be used as materials for an extra deck summon until the end of the next turn. But we don't care about that because we're going to pick 2 dark monsters, Dragoon and Fancy Ball. Now because of that, Fancy Ball was summoned this turn, so you can activate its negate effect, and it operates a little bit like SP, except it just banishes itself until the end of the turn, and then negates whatever monster effect activated and banishes it. And then you also obviously have another Dragoon effect because it's a soft once per turn. You can discard another random card. And then you obviously still have the Mind Shuffle effect. You can bring this back, summon this to banish a card. It's just like, you can activate it again the next time they activate something, protect your stuff from a heavy storm, get back a spell, you can get back Gaze of Timaeus, why not? This is all off Magician's Rod. This is crazy, dude. Oh my gosh. Okay. But the main thing I wanted to accentuate with this combo is that the Dark Magician stuff can bridge into the Light and Darkness stuff, and the Light and Darkness stuff can bridge into the Dark Magician stuff. When you activate Magician Souls, if you don't already have the Light and Darkness stuff, you can send him, and then you can use either one of these to get this back, and then get Mind Shuffle and go from there. Or conversely, if you only have the Light and Darkness stuff, you have 2 high-level spellcasters to banish so that you can summon Dark Magician of Destruction and go from there. And don't worry about banishing either of these to summon Demod because you have Summon Skull to bring it back. It is so, this deck is so cool, you guys. I cannot wait to play this again. I'm so excited to play this in a duel, in a 4-player game. Well, there you have it. That is, I guess, the first draft of my own personal Light and Darkness deck. What did you guys think about it? Was I missing anything completely obvious? Is there a different direction you would take the deck? Would you go heavier on the Dia Bellstar package? Would you go heavier on the Shining Sarcophagus package? Is there other stuff you'd add? I mean, I think this deck can go in so many directions, man, that it's going to be so much fun in Domain. You have no idea. Yeah, that's the deck. That's all I got for you guys today. I can't wait to play this. Quick reminder, none of my stuff is in the Domain Discord anymore, so tell your friends about this. I have links down below to more playlists of other content I have, and eventually I will be opening my Discord, or you can catch me streaming. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys next time. Christ is King. God bless you all.